Hey guys, so today I'm going to be giving you an update on MCPE Skins Locator for iOS. So if you remember a few months back, I made a video on the Skins Locator for iOS that allowed you obviously to get skins for Minecraft Pocket Edition. And a lot of people have been wondering, what happened to that because I went silent and I haven't really said a whole lot about it. And the biggest reason for that is because 0.12.1 just came out and I was getting ready for that and updating Mod Locator for MCPE with the 3.0 update. So I haven't had a whole lot of time. Well, I didn't have a whole lot of time, but I ended up finishing the app up and I was just going to talk about, what happened with that app. So it's the first iOS app that I've actually ever made. So a lot of people were kind of excited to see that I'm actually developing for iOS because, a lot of you already know that I don't really care about Apple. I don't like the iPhone or iOS or whatever. I don't like Macs. I don't like any of it. So, a lot of people were kind of surprised, and I'll get to that a little bit later. But going back to, the actual app itself. So I ended up submitting it to the Apple App Store already. So I don't know how long it's going to take them to review. I submitted it actually, I don't remember how long ago, but I did submit that, and I actually posted about it on Facebook and Twitter. So if you want to follow me on Facebook and Twitter, there's links for those in the description. I don't really talk about that all that much, but I probably should. But yeah, I did give an update on Facebook and Twitter about that, but I did submit it. Don't remember when, but it was a few days back, so this video is a little bit late. So yeah, really exciting stuff. Kind of weird for me because, again, I don't really care for Apple, but I guess I can talk about why I'm developing for Apple. I've gone over this a little bit before. A lot of you probably already know, but I'm going to go over it anyways. So, I always complain about Apple and iOS and the Mac, and, usually it's just, funny stuff, just kind of a quick jab at them, but I really don't care about the iOS system. But what I do like is that Apple takes care of their developers. Google, on the other hand, does not whatsoever. So a lot of you probably already know about this as well, where my Google Play developer account has been shut down 2 times. The first one was for a false reason. I couldn't get in contact with anybody over at Google. They have a little appeal form where you can submit an email and try to get your account back. But that goes to some sketchy guy working at YouTube, sitting in front of his computer, or not YouTube, working at Google, just sitting in front of his computer. He doesn't really care, doesn't care about his job. That's who that email goes to, and generally, you don't get a reply, and if you do, it's a scripted email, and just like they copy and paste something over. That's really all you get from Google, and I couldn't get my account back, so I made another account, and that one got shut down as well because I made a second account and I wasn't supposed to. Third account going strong, but who knows how long that'll actually last. So, it's not like it's just me. It happens to quite a few people, and I think the story that really stuck with me the most was about this guy who he just bought a new house. The only job he had was working on apps and developing apps. He was making enough money from it. He got a nice car, a nice house. He had a family to support, and Google shuts his account down for no reason, and he couldn't get in contact with anybody. And now he's not making any money. I mean, what is he going to do? He has to pay off his car, his house, and he's got to feed his family. So what's he going to do? Because he doesn't have, his app anymore. He's got to go find a job just so he can pay for some of this stuff. I don't know. I don't even know what the situation was there. I don't think he ever got in contact with Google. I don't know what he had to do to pay all that stuff off. I don't think, he'd be able to pay all of it off unless he was lucky enough to find a job that paid enough. But, that's one of those things where Google just doesn't care. And they do this on YouTube as well, where a lot of people just get strikes against their account or they get banned completely. And, you don't really know why. Google or YouTube does a little bit better. I mean, it's still owned by Google, but they do a little bit better job of, getting the point across to people, why they were banned and stuff like that. But YouTube still does some sketchy stuff. But the Google Play developer department at Google is just really, really bad about getting, support for their developers, where Apple is completely different. Now, again, I don't like Apple, but the way they treat the developers is how developers should be treated. They get, 24/7 support. All they have to do is call or live chat or email, and you get fast replies on the emails, and you actually can have one-on-one support with another person at Apple if you have any problems. And that's what should happen because, developers are actually making these companies money. So, if you have a paid app, some of the money, every time somebody buys it, some of the money goes to like Google, some of it goes to the developer or, Apple and the developer, who knows. But same thing with in-app purchases. When an in-app purchase is, done, some of the money goes to Google, some of the money goes to the developer or whatever platform they're on. And, same thing with ads even. If I'm using AdMob for my Google apps, so Google, or my Android apps, so Google gets some of the money, I get some of the money. Apple, I'm using iAds, so Apple gets some of the money and I get some of the money. So developers are actually, giving or making these companies money, and Google, just throws them under the bus. Apple is, a completely different story, and it's the one time where I'm actually like, pleased with Apple, and I think they're doing the right thing. Now, the one thing I noticed, this was a little while back, but it's extremely annoying that Apple did this, and it's kind of let me just explain it. So, if you remember when the Confederate flag thing was like a huge deal and everybody was freaking out about it because they don't know their history. There was this app that was like a history app kind of game thing. It was fairly educational, and by that I mean it was more for fun than education. But it was an educational game. I think even some students were allowed to play it at school. I think the schools were actually using it to teach kids. A really cool game, and I actually didn't get a chance to try it out myself, but they got their app taken off of the Apple App Store because it displayed the Confederate flag, and it's a history game. It's about the Civil War, so it's just, gonna have a Confederate flag. I mean, it's a history game, but yeah, that was extremely annoying. And, I liked what the developers of that app did. They said they're not gonna, try to change their app to get Apple to allow it, because Apple said if they take the flag out, they can resubmit it, which, okay, at least they allow you to resubmit it. But still, I mean, I like what the developer said. They said they're not going to take the Confederate flag out of their game. They're just not going to develop for Apple anymore. And I'm glad the developer did that, because it's making the point that, they're making up rules out of nowhere. And, Apple was making up this rule about the Confederate flag simply because they don't agree with people displaying it. And, that was just extremely annoying for Apple to do that. And, they just need to leave their own views out of it. I mean, obviously, there's stuff that needs to be taken off the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, but something like this, it's not harmful. It's a flag, for crying out loud, and they were just freaking out about it. And there was probably, what I'm assuming is, some idiot complained and said that they were so offended by it, and it was the worst thing ever. But people can be offended by anything anymore. That's just how it is. What I would have done as a developer is said that I was offended because they wouldn't let me publish my app anymore. Then Apple's kind of stuck in this thing where two people are offended. But anyways, that's going way off point. Point is, I hate how Apple did that, and I haven't seen Google do something like that where they get their views caught up in the rules of their App Store. So, shame on Apple for that part, but again, they just, I don't have any Confederate flags in my app, so I don't really need to worry about that part. But I like how Apple has that one-on-one support with their developers. So that's why I'm making iPhone apps. I think I just dragged this on a little too long talking about the Confederate flag, but that's again why I'm developing for Apple. So hopefully I can get some footage of the app uploaded when it's released, because currently I don't have a real way to record it. I mean, I could use like an emulator or something like that. But the iPhone that I'm using just for testing purposes, believe me, I don't use it for anything personal. It's an iPhone. But the iPhone that I'm using for testing purposes, I don't have it jailbroken because it's on iOS 9, because I have to have iOS 9 for testing. So I can't jailbreak iOS 9 yet to record it, and other recorders like Xiao and I think iRec was another one. Those two that used to work don't work anymore on iOS 9, so I have to just wait for either those to be updated or for a jailbreak to come out. So hopefully, again, I can get some footage of that soon. But yeah, the reason you're not seeing it on screen right now is because, like I just said, I don't have a way to record. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below if you plan on getting this app. If you're an iPhone user and you plan on getting it, that'd be really cool to see if quite a few of you actually do want to get it, because I know this community is mostly Android, because that's kind of what I've always done videos about was Android. But again, cool to see if people are planning on getting it. So leave your comments down below, and I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.